In this video, I'm going to walk through using a P5.js sketch as your logo on a cargo design portfolio site. So just to have something to work with as an example, I went to the generative design book website here and grabbed some sample code of one of these typographic sketches there, and just put my logo in there. So just to give us something to work with here. So I've got this all set up here. Now, if you are in the P5 editor here, you've got the option to share. And if you go File, Share, it'll give you this iframe embed. And it's really easy to load this into Cargo using the code editor. The problem is it puts this kind of like pink bar on the top of it. And it's really what it's meant for is kind of, sharing, sketch work, and it includes the title and a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't want to have on your screen or on the web page if you are, using it here as your logo. So what we're going to do is instead download this code, push it up to Netlify, and then embed it into Cargo that way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to File and Download here, and that's going to create a zip file of my sketch here. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to rename it as logo.zip, and I'm going to save that here. And then I'm going to go ahead in here to Finder and go ahead and open up the logo here. And what you'll see here, I'm going to pull it up in in VS Code. Is here's basically the outputted website here with the index.html. And what we're going to do with this folder essentially here is we're going to go ahead and push it up to Netlify. So Netlify, if you're not familiar with it, is a service for hosting static websites, and it does a whole bunch of other cool stuff with builds and things like that. But we don't need really any of the advanced functionality there. Here, basically, once you're logged in, you're going to have this kind of sites view. You can see this is like where my personal site's stored. But then it's really easy. What we're going to basically do here is you can drag and drop the folder right off the desktop and just drop it right here. And you can set this, if you plan on changing the sketch a lot, you can set this up with GitHub deploys, which is really cool. But if you're planning on just changing it regular or not changing it very often, this works great. If you change the code, then again you just drag and drop the folder right there here on the UI, and it'll redeploy it for you with any changes you make to your code. By default, it's going to give you just kind of a generated name here. But you can go to the quick setup thing there and and change that if you want. But what you'll see here is once it's done, it takes just a second. Now you can see basically I've got this URL right here, and I've got this all set up here with no bars, no nothing there. So now I'm going to tab over here to Cargo. I'm going to just I just spun up a site here with this with this demo theme, and what we're going to do here is we'll go over to the left nav of the desktop. You should be able to do this with any theme, but then hit your your code view for the the local site here. And make sure, that's the homepage index. I'm going to tab over to left nav and then hit this. Yeah, there we go. And then here's my actual H2. And I'm just going to replace, basically going to replace this header. And there's a little bit of code here. If you want kind of like some sample code, what I'd recommend is going over to MDN and which I guess actually would be developer.mozilla.org would be the better way to access it. My internet's going to be slow. There we go. Okay, sweet. And then I'm going to hit iframe. Cool. And then here it's got some like sample iframe code. So if you want something to work from, you could come in here and grab this. We could actually totally put it together here as well, and just paste that in. So there's the Netlify thing there. I don't know if I really need a title or there. And you can start to kind of put this together. 400. I'm gonna do I'll try like a 400 by 400 square here. Take it from that, and then you can copy and paste this over in Cargo. if you want. So then let's jump back over here to cargo. I'm just gonna, in this particular case, I'm just gonna replace my H2s there with that. We can check the sizing here once we see it in the cargo site. Yeah, perfect, that's in there. And then honestly, it looks like we can probably get away with a smaller, smaller thing there. Actually, again, so sketches that don't like spread out, as much are probably going to be like a better fit there. But anyways, there is that in there. And then, so I can hit update, save that out. And then we can go, over to the site here. Oh, I guess we actually need to publish it here. Make sure that's in there. And there we go. Sorry, publish changes. Still sometimes forget where those URLs in cargo. But then we can go over here, and now we can load the site up. And there's our logo hanging out in there, fully interactive, no bars at the top or bottom. But yeah, that's just kind of walk through of how to do this. So basically, we're going from the P5 editor to a download, which we're then pushing up to Netlify, which we're then going and grabbing some iframe code here, and then dropping that in, into cargo here using the editor. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you.